Easter weekend, 1982, a Southern Illinois University student from Carbondale, Illinois, was having her family over for Easter. Little did they know she would not be alive when they got there. What followed was a cold case and then a long list of other murders. This is the story of Deborah Sheppard. Hello. Good morning. It is February 27th, Tuesday morning. We are at the end of February coming up here. Wow, amazing. Just a few more days left. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful month so far. Let's hope that March is better and that everybody has a wonderful month and a wonderful spring coming up. I am drinking Java Mama, Java Oh Mama. Yeah, that's right. It is the St. Patty's Vanilla Mint. Now, the other one we have, which is the Shamrock one, is Chocolate Mint, and that's wonderful. I got that one last year. This one, I thought I'd try something different. I am a chocolate favorite, so I do like the chocolate, but this one's good too. I mean, if you like vanilla with a little bit of mint, it's really good with French vanilla creamer as well. Because I'm out of sweet cream, so I had some French vanilla creamer in there. And boy, it does taste good. I will have the link in the show notes. Java Mama's Air Roasted, Clean and Green. We just have a whole new line of Easter coffees and a whole new line of hot cocos that taste so good. So, I am coming at you today with early access for my Patreon and Spotify Premium. I'm having a little trouble with Patreon right now. For some reason, I tried to upload the new bonus episode, the last bonus episode for February. It's taken forever to upload. I had to stop it so I could record this one. So I'm going to try to upload them later. I don't know what's going on. And it's only happening in Patreon because I'm able to upload in Spotify. So we'll see what the deal is here. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and record this one. This one, my gosh, for some reason I had not heard of this. I don't know why, because I've not heard any part of it. My sources are murderpedia.org, dailyegyptian.com, and Cold Case Files. This was a episode in season 2, Midwest Murder is what the episode was named. So I thought, I am checking this out, and here we go. Amazing that what happened with this one. That Cold Case Files show is available on Amazon Prime and Hulu, and it was an A&E series is what it was. I really like it. So now I'm getting hooked on it. So I'm going to go back and watch some more. So I am doing the episode of Deborah Sheppard. Now she, this was Easter weekend, 1982. So it was in April. It was April 8th that weekend, and it was in Carbondale, Illinois. She was almost getting ready to graduate. She had a week left with her marketing degree in Southern Illinois University. Now, she was having her family over. For Easter, they were coming from Chicago area, so they had to drive down. This is like Northern Illinois to Southern Illinois, and it's quite a drive. And her boyfriend stopped to see her that day. He wanted to go to a movie or something with her, and she said, no, she's got people coming over. She's got to go home and clean. He went to the door to see her that day, and there was a note on the door that said to knock hard, that she was in the shower. I never found out if she wrote that note or if someone else did, but He walked in because he got no answer, and he found her deceased body in her bedroom. She had no clothes on. He ran out and called 911. He had someone call 911. This was the days before cell phones. I don't know if he had somebody call 911 or he found a payphone. I think it was an apartment building. It was off campus. So I think he found somebody. There were no injuries on her body. No marks. There were no visible marks at all. The phone line was cut and a window pane was on the ground, like someone had removed the window pane. So they were thinking that's how this guy got in, or this person got in. Family was expected to come over. Okay, well, they were expected to come over, and then they learned that she had passed. Her father found out and told the rest of the family. She had 2 little sisters, or 1 little sister, I know. I was thinking she had 2. I'm pretty sure she had 2, because he was so protective of his little girls after this. And her father told them, she's not with us anymore. Here they are coming over for Easter. I cannot imagine. This was an off-campus apartment, but the investigation started all over the apartments and the campus and off-campus. And they did find mud in the bathtub, which is very strange. They did question the boyfriend because he's the one that found her. He was very believable. There was nothing to link him to this crime. The autopsy, they did the autopsy. Now, rape kits were new back then, which I had no idea of that. But so they weren't as advanced in technology back in 1982. And they thought, since, like I said, rape kits were new, I don't think it was, I'm pretty sure they did a rape kit from what I remember, but they thought that she was sick and had collapsed because there was residue that had come out of her mouth. And they saved a t-shirt of hers because the t-shirt was laying there, and when she had whatever came out of her mouth was on the t-shirt. So of course they saved that sample. They did not suspect foul play, but the family was not happy about this. They knew somebody did this to her. She was never sick. She was completely healthy. Nothing happened. Well, and I mean, nothing would have happened like this with this young girl. And the father wasn't giving up, and I don't blame him. She was perfectly healthy. He started investigating. He came down to get her body from Chicago, and to get the investigation going. So I'm thinking, they said he drove down to get her body. So I'm wondering if he got there for, oh, you know what? I don't think they made it there for Easter, if I can remember, because they were contacted that she had died. So I don't think they made it there. I think she died the day, I think it was a Saturday. No, it was a Friday. No, it was a Saturday. I can't remember. It was the weekend. And I think what happened was they hadn't come down yet. So they hadn't gotten there yet. So they hadn't even left. So they were still in Chicago. And then when he got, he drove down there to get her body. And he got on them and said he wanted a second autopsy. And he said, this is not going to be swept under the rug. They're an African-American family, and there's no way this is going to get swept under the rug. This needs to be investigated. So they found on the second autopsy she had deep bruising in her neck tissues. And they found sperm from the rape kit. Now, why didn't they do this the first time? Were they just going to say, oh, no, she was sick? No. So now her death was ruled a homicide. So if it wasn't for her father coming down to get her, I don't think any of this would have happened. And they did question a suspect. One, his name, a boy named Anthony, who was going to move in as her roommate because her female roommate had just moved out. not long before this, and he had just moved in, and she knew her father wasn't going to like her living with a man, but she needed a roommate to help with expenses. So he moved in months before she died. But he was at work at the time. They started looking at him because Deborah had said that he tried to kiss her once. But he had an alibi. His alibi checked out. He was at work. They did a suspect profile, like when they don't have anybody, but they start making a profile up to see who this person was. They said they thought he was African American. All their friends had passed polygraphs, so I don't know if they were thinking he was African American because of her friends. But how do they know this? I'm not understanding. But that's what they said. I don't know how they get that. But and then a year later, another rape happened. 1 year later, and it was an assault and a rape across town. Excuse me. It was a friend of Deborah's. So this person who did that was, that is, of course, they would think that they were connected, but this one lived. This one was a murder. So they questioned this person who did it, or who did this one, who raped this girl, but he had an alibi at the time of Deborah's murder, so he wasn't there at her apartment at that time, is what he got the alibi for. So he was cleared. Case went cold. 2 years later, they found out they were not connecting anything with something else that happened. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I was going to look and see how far that was from Carbondale. I know Carbondale's down in southern Illinois, and I know Missouri's right there, like St. Louis. You can go across to St. Louis. But Cape Girardeau, Missouri, they had some unexplained homicides during this time. And they found out in January 27th of 1982, there was a woman named Margie Call. She was 57 and a bookkeeper at I'm not sure how you say this, Woolworth or Woolworth. It's back then it was a big department store. I don't even remember it. I mean, I don't even know if we had one here. But Margie Call was her name. She was found deceased, hands bound behind her back. There was a broken window. Got in through a window, same as Deborah. They took 2 hair samples that they found. 5 blocks away, 6 months after this happened, another brutal murder. A woman, 65 years old, named Mildred Wallace. She was found deceased and sexually assaulted. She had a nightgown tied around her neck, but she was shot in the head with a .38. That was the one thing that was different. They thought they were similar enough and wondered if these two were connected. Close in proximity of the houses, and 6 months later. It was strange to me, though, when I heard that she was shot. Now, no suspects, questioned everybody, did a thorough investigation on both of them. The cases go cold. In 1985, they went cold. May of 2006, 22 years later, here DNA started making its round. I mean, people started talking about it. And in Carbondale, the detective in Carbondale was doing a documentary or something, or a piece on the news about DNA. And he was with a forensics expert at that time, talking to her. And he brought up Deborah's case, Deborah Sheppard. And that it had never been solved, and that he was wondering if they could run some DNA and see if they could find out who murdered her. Oh, excuse me. Had to take a drink. So, he brought it to his superior. I don't know if it was his captain, his boss, whoever, he had to clear it with, that he could reopen this case and do some forensics on it, just to open it for forensics. Not to, go through and interview people again and interrogate them, but just for forensics. Well, he was shut down. They said no. Why? No idea. I don't know what this would have hurt, but he then, a year later, was promoted to a lieutenant, and then he was able to do it. So he got the forensics opened on Deborah's case. They had a tiny speck of semen on that shirt, that t-shirt that she had laying there, tiny speck. And it was by accident. The reason that it just happened, and I just said this earlier, that they thought she was sick because something had come out of her mouth, and that was it. When you're strangled, who knows? I mean, everything could just come out of your mouth, and there was a tiny speck of semen that made it on that shirt. So, August 9th of 2007, they ran the DNA, and they got a match. Believe it or not, a tiny speck. It's just amazing to me. 63-year-old Timothy Wayne Krazier, I think is how they said his name. Krazier. He was actually an EMT who saved lives. He went into people's homes to help them. They said he delivered babies. He worked in the... it's amazing. Letting people in your house to help you, or someone that has to go in your house to get you in an ambulance. He had a whole long record of rape and assaults. He was paroled in the 1970s. He got his associate's degree in prison and worked as an EMT in prison. So he was able to get his associate's degree, and then he went on to get a degree, I think it said a degree in justice. And he used his knowledge to evade the police, is what he did. So in 1979, he got sent back because he got in trouble doing something with a child. And in 1981, he was released again with counseling. He got sent back to Carbondale to live. And that was in 1981. And he was in prison. He was in prison for other rapes, other murders, assaults. So he was in prison. He was already a serial killer. They just had no idea that he would be connected to Deborah's case. And August 21st of 2007 is when they interviewed him in prison. He said he didn't know Deborah. You got the wrong person. I want an attorney. So there you go. He wanted to get an attorney. So they're like, oh boy, okay. They already told him they knew he did it. They had the forensics DNA test. They knew he did it. They told him all this. He still would not say anything. He wouldn't talk. So the next day they got a phone call. The following day, I don't know what changed overnight, but he wanted to confess. So they went back to the prison, interviewed him. He said he did kill Deborah by strangulation. And they let her family know they found him. They let her family know they got him. This is the one. It's over. And they found out that he was in Cape Girardeau, Missouri at the time of the other murders. There was a DNA match on a palm print of Mildred Wallace's case. She was the one that was shot. And then Margie Call was the other one. So they were able to link him to both of those. On December 3rd of 2007, he told about, I don't know if he actually told him this. Yeah, he told him everything because he wanted to elude the death penalty. Because in Missouri, there's a death penalty. Illinois, there isn't. So he could have gotten the death penalty for murdering the ladies in Missouri. So he said he wanted to evade the death penalty. He would tell everything. So the families agreed. When he was 10 years old, he had a sexual obsession with his mom. I don't understand where that comes up at. That reminded me of Psycho with Norman Bates, but A sexual obsession with your mom at 10 years old. Something's weird there with that. So I have no idea what kind of mother he had. I don't know who she was. I never found out. But he said he could not stop. He was obsessed with doing this. He had murders in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Marion, Illinois, and he would stalk them. This is what he would do. He would stalk women, follow them home, and watch them for a couple weeks to see if any men lived there or anybody else lived there, I'm thinking. And then he would strike. They said he would like be in the house. He'd like go through a window and like jump out of the shower or something. It's like, oh my, you talk about a horror movie. That would, I don't like that. I do not like that at all. When they were interviewing him, no remorse, none at all. He said he picked quote unquote easy victims. Easy victims is what he picked. I don't know what he thinks easy. I guess that means they live alone and don't have anybody else with them, I'm thinking. So over 20 unsolved assault. He also admitted to over 20 unsolved assaults, rapes, and one murder in 1981 that was pinned on someone else. Oh, this is so sad. This murder was of a stabbing of a woman named Ida White. She lived through it. Grover Thompson was the person who they pinned it on. And he was African American. They pinned it on him because he was sleeping at a post office across the street. And I know at post offices, the lobby's usually always open. I don't know if they are anymore. But a lot of times they are open, and there were people who didn't have a home would go there to sleep. So she lived in Milwaukee, and that's where it happened. And Grover Thompson is the one who they pinned it on, and he died in prison in 1996. In prison for something he didn't do because of this jackass. It's like, come on. You're already in prison, I don't remember exactly when he went in. I mean, he was in and out of prison. Oh my gosh. It's like, that really gets me. You're just now doing this to get this man to save, but I know he has no remorse for anybody, even an innocent man. He is now serving 13 consecutive life sentences in Pontiac Correctional Center in Illinois. And he started his sentence April 4th of 2008. He will not get out. And I want to talk about his victims. I just want to name off his victims that he was in trouble. 9 victims here that he was found out that were solved. And I know there's more. There was a mother and daughter, Mary, 58 years old. Her daughter, Brenda, 27. Mary and Brenda Parsh from Carbondale. 51-year-old Virginia Lee White. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. Witte. From Marion, Illinois. Sheila Cole, 21. From McClure, Illinois. Joyce Tharp, 29. From Kentucky. Myrtle Rupp, 51. From Pennsylvania. And Deborah Sheppard, 23, Margie Call, 57, and Mildred Wallace, 65. My heart goes out to you, your families, for this horrible, horrible SOB that is rotting in Pontiac Correctional Center in Illinois. I never heard of this guy. I never heard of this. I had no idea all this was going to come out. It is a good episode if you want to catch that one on Cold Case Files. The name of it is A Midwest Murder. It is in season 2. So I wanted to talk about Deborah and all of these other women who really trusted this guy. He was an EMT. I'm sure he was very friendly. People described him as friendly. You would never think it was someone like him. I don't know. I just don't know what to think when this stuff happens. And these guys, I mean, he was in and out of prison. He should have been put away. So instead, he was out doing this. But he should have been put away, you know. So, oh my gosh. The other one I just did on Patreon was a DNA case where, another one that just irritated me. But if you want to catch that, I do 3 bonus episodes on Patreon or Spotify Premium. And Patreon, it seems like an easier platform from my feedback on my subscribers. But I do 3 bonus episodes a month, and I am now currently reading my own murder mystery, Stranded in Time. So you get that, plus 3 bonus episodes a month and early access. This one will be up for early access and will be on, I'm going to try to get it up today if Patreon will, on Patreon, if it will cooperate, and then it will be on the, up on the podcast Friday. I think that's March 1st. Yeah. It's a leap year. So yeah. So that will be up Friday for y'all. Okay. Recommendations. I started watching The Unexpected Killer. I think that's the name of it. On An Unexpected Killer or An Unexpected. It is, I don't even know if killer is the right word, but I'm pretty sure that's it. It is on Peacock. It is very good. It's got stories where you would not believe they always think the killer is someone else, and it's the one you least expect it. It's very good. There's many other ones on there that I'm watching. So let me think what else. I got to get back to They Call Him Mostly Harmless on Max. And the one about Jim, again, there we go. I'm blanking on the title for that one. And I just said it in the Patreon episode, about the guy who made people drink the Kool-Aid. I have to take that one in small doses. So I'm not even close to being through with that. I don't even know. I mean, I'll probably go back to it, but there's other ones that I want to go back to that I'm watching, but this Cold Case Files is really interesting. Now I'm really hooked on that. So it's like I get hooked on these and then I jump around. And as far as podcasts go, there's one really good one I'm listening to, Hollywood Crime Scene. It's these 2 ladies. They do laugh a lot, but I'm pretty sure that, of course, let me think if that's the right name. I'm pretty sure it is. But it's pretty good, and there's a couple other ones I really like. I'm still listening to the same ones, Popcorn and Ketchup, the movie one, the movie review one that I really like, and Murder with My Husband, Going West. Oh, and Death Do Us Part just had a new one. They just dropped a new episode about this horrible lady who was horrible to her kids. This lady's nuts. I mean, you listen to this, and this lady, I don't know what her deal is, but, oh my gosh, that's a good one. And now I forgot her name. I think it's, what was her name? She had an old lady's name, but she wasn't really old, and I can't think of it. But anyway, Death Do Us Part, that's a really good one, based up in Chicago area of Illinois. And again, I am still listening to some new ones. Love Murder is one that I just now started getting into from Podcast Tonight. If you go to Podcast Tonight, the website, you can learn some new podcasts, and there's all different ones. I am on there, but they do a live stream like every day, but you don't know what really is coming up, so you just gotta let it play. And they've got a lot of good ones on there. So that is Podcast Tonight on their website. And if I think of it, maybe I'll put the link down below. If I remember, I'll do that. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful month in March. Springtime's coming. Have a wonderful rest of February. Get your coffee on, your tea, your hot cocoa, your water, lemonade, whatever it is. Put your feet up and relax. And I will see you next time.